So when you look at the 26-man roster that we have seen, though, how strong of a team do you see this Sweden side as we do head into the World Cups? I mean, do you think that they'll be able to put up a fight? Because they do have a pretty good World Cup group that they're in, Nico.
Yeah, I think the group is generous for a team like Sweden, who didn't win a single World Cup game in qualifying. And then, obviously, through their Nations League results, were able to make the playoff and find their way to the big dance. Getting out of the group at the World Cup means nothing to me.
Because it's so easy to get out of a group.
Third-place teams get out of the group.
So who do you think is in that group? I mean, we've talked about Japan. Japan are a really good team. So
Netherlands,
even Tunisia, who obviously would be thought of as the worst team in the group, they went through African World Cup qualifying without giving up a single goal. It was a relatively straightforward group for them, but in Africa, which a lot of countries have struggled to qualify out of that region, they make it look difficult, even though you're the more talented team. They're a rock-solid team. They were at the last World Cup. They're pretty good defensively, so I don't see that as a gimme for them. Yeah, they're obviously the underdogs to get out, but I think Sweden, that is probably the game of their tournament, is getting something from that game against Tunisia, limiting the damage. Maybe one more point gets you into the next phase of the World Cup, but yeah, I think this isn't a guarantee that they get out, in my opinion.
The other thing they've got as well, though, is because of the way they qualified, they've got momentum. They're coming into this with momentum. And that'll still be fresh in their minds. The way they came into it, it's like a backdoor entry. I think that gives them something. It gives them belief and it gives them confidence as well. And also, that group, it's not like there's one of the favourites in there, is there? You couldn't say Netherlands or Japan amongst the favourites. So I think they'll be very comfortable with that group too.
In terms of Graham Potter, if they are able to do well, because it seems like maybe you guys wouldn't be so impressed if they're able to get out, because it's not the hardest to get out, especially if maybe you finish third. But in terms of Graham Potter and his reputation, if they are able to be successful, and I don't know where you measure success for Sweden, but how much would the reputation change for Graham Potter?
Good question, Claudia. I think he's already done it to a degree because, you know, it didn't go well at Chelsea. It didn't go well at West Ham. So after the initial euphoria around what he achieved in Scandinavia and then at Brighton, it all went a little bit pear-shaped. In fact, a lot pear-shaped. Now he has done a pretty miraculous job with Sweden. Bear in mind where they were when he arrived. He's obviously comfortable working in that country and with those players. Yeah, I think it's already restored. Him being considered for a top coaching job in the UK on the back of West Ham and Chelsea, he's been lower down the list than he is now. If he can take them deep into the tournament, it will continue.
What's deep?
The round of 16?
What's deep?
He's so cynical.
It's just, to me, you coached
quarterfinals.
You coached 4 games. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You coached in 4 games. You didn't win your first 2, and then you took them to the playoff final. I don't want to take away any merit from there. But if I want to see a manager's stock rise, I want to see him guide them into a quarterfinal. If Sweden made a quarterfinal after going winless in World Cup qualifying, and then suddenly turning it around with Graham Potter on a dime, by the way, because it was on a dime. The guy had 2 windows to turn around. I'd be like, okay, he got a pulse on this team. Great job for him. But if you bounce out
he's done the
round of 32, round of 16...
He's done the first job that was asked of him.
Yeah.
So give him credit for that.
Right. I do. In 4 games, yeah. Great.
No, I mean,
you manage your bounce.
Well,
Let's see if it's not just a bounce.
To me...
4 games, Jeff.
I think he's going to stick around.
The job was 4 games. You can't blame him for what was before.
I'm not saying anything, but
You're just not sold on it yet.
Let's relax. The World Cup. If they crash out group stages, then what are we going to say? If they crash out of this group, if you crash out of a group with Argentina, France, and Norway... Yeah,
they're not crashing out this group, surely.
All right. And then let's see afterwards. I'm not convinced. You know what I don't like? I don't like a team not winning a single game World Cup qualifying and going to the World Cup. It's just, there's something wrong.
I agree.
Yeah, but that's the competition.
But they made it, right? And you need to give them credit where credit is due because they did win their playoff games, and you can't take that away from them. Now it's about how good really is this Sweden team.
We'll find out, won't we?
I don't know how good the Sweden team is.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's some fit issues as well. Obviously, your 2 best players are both strikers. With Isak and Gyökeres, and Isak is coming off of a nightmare of a season. So are you going to play them together, or how does that look like? I think there definitely are still questions for them to answer.
They have played together.
Yes, they have, but I think at this level, we're talking about they played together during qualifying and they didn't win a single game. So, you know, like, is it going to work for them in a real way? We have them projected as playing out of a 3-5-2, essentially, with the 2 of them together. But I think Can you get that service from Gudmundsson and Svensson in wide areas in order to put them in a position to succeed? What does it look like when they play off each other? Is one dropping? Is one going? Because we don't see two striker setups too often. So what does this actually look like in application?
You have Elanga also, which would make a little bit more sense. Listen, if Isak is not ready to go and he's not fit, I'd rather play Gyökeres and have Nigel, who's creative, and Elanga, who's got a lot of verticality, a lot of pace to get in behind, especially when you got fullbacks that can whip in crosses or at least hit you on the through ball. That's another option that they have.
I like Bergvall. I've got a real soft spot for Bergvall. I think he's a precocious young talent, and he's dynamic on the ball. He makes things happen.
There are some players here that we know a lot about, like a Gyökeres or an Isak, and what they can bring, what they can deliver if they can remain healthy as well. But are there a couple players here that you think that this could be a breakout moment for them in the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of these players are at a decent level in European club football, but I've kind of gone right up the spine of that team. So these are the players that I've gone for. Benjamin Nygren in his first season for Celtic has hit for 15 league goals, 20 goals in all competitions, along with the 8 assists. I really like Yassine Ayari, who plays in midfield for Brighton. He's had a couple of really bright moments of the season, and I think he's going to be a player who could easily get that sort of World Cup bump and a big move elsewhere. And a player that I see very often in Serie A as well is Isak Hien, who has anchored that back three. It's sort of been a bit of a surprise how regular he's been. He joined from Hellas Verona in January of 2024, and all of a sudden, almost immediately, was first choice for Gasperini. He's been first choice as well for Juric and for Palladino. One of those anchors of a defense who plays that man-to-man system very well for Atalanta, who I think could have a good World Cup for Sweden as well.
Yeah. So, Nico, let's take a look at some of the group stage matches, or the 3 group stage matches for Sweden. And I want you to tell me realistically how you think Sweden is going to play, because I think maybe we all agree that they'll get out of the group stage. I don't know how you're feeling. You don't sound convinced. You're not convinced. This entire time, you don't seem very convinced.
3 points against Tunisia. If they're going to get out of the group, they need 3 points against Tunisia because they can easily lose against the Netherlands. Just like I don't know if it's possible. Yeah, let's give Tunisia 3 points, right? That's already setting you up for success. Just like you can get points off of Netherlands and Japan, here's the thing. You could lose both those games.
Of course.
Who's stronger, Netherlands or Japan?
I think overall quality, Netherlands is better.
But I don't think there's...
Collectively, I have questions.
Yeah, so I can't split. I wouldn't have big money on who's the stronger of those two.
But, Jeff, Sweden can lose to both Netherlands and Japan.
Easily.
As long as it's not by a lot.
If 3 points is going to be enough to get out as a third place team?
If you offer Sweden now, beat Tunisia, and nick a point off one of those two, they'd snatch your hand off.
And then you get through. Right? Let's just say Netherlands is a loss. Let's just say, to be fun. So let's throw out that L there. A point against Japan gets you through, likely. I don't know if most likely, but likely. Now it's a goals numbers game, right?
Yeah.
But
equally,
you could lose to Japan, and then you're talking 3 points out of the group.
Equally, Netherlands and Japan could draw.
In the very first game.
That could change the dynamic of the group.
Yeah, that's 1 point each.
Right, you go into match day 2 as top of the group.
Yeah, and Tunisia could take points off of one of those two teams, right? Yes. In that second and third game. Second against Japan, third against Netherlands. Let's go draw, and then perhaps 4 get out of it, but it could easily be win, loss, loss. I don't know. That's it's a big question mark because I've never seen something like this, that a team in the main department, World Cup qualification, you're terrible. But you make the World Cup anyway.
You win.
I don't know where to gauge Sweden. A brand new manager. Is it a new manager bounce? Is it a lasting effect? They don't have, beyond Gyökeres, I don't know if they have a world, like top of the, not even Gyökeres is world class in that sense. I don't know. I'm full of questions.
Graham Potter did say if they can get Alexander Isak to full health, that he is a world-class player. So they have potentially that go.
He was world-class last season.
Yeah.
his knee is looking the other way of his other knee. You know, it's like a cross-eyed knee. So, like, I don't know how healthy he is.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's bring in our CBS Sports betting analyst to get some bets, John Bucketsheimer, who will be joining us this summer for all the World Cup coverage that we are having here on the network. He's going to be one of our betting analysts. Buckets, what bets do you have for us in regards to Sweden at the World Cup?
Got two bets for the Sweden side, both looking at futures. A big part of my World Cup contributions is going to be education, because for the World Cup, you've got so many different betting angles that don't exist during regular season play. So my two small futures here is an exacta for where Sweden is going to finish in the group. I've got Sweden to finish third in their group at plus 300. You guys have kind of talked about, kind of been unsure about a lot of things that are going to happen in this group stage. I've got Japan winning this group. I've got Netherlands finishing second in this group, and I've got Sweden probably still qualifying, but I don't think they're good enough to beat either of these sides outright. So I like their spot being third on the table, and it might even be a little close against Tunisia. I just don't have a lot of confidence in what they're doing, and I think they're in a very difficult and tricky group to scrape by. So I like this look at plus 300. And then bet number two is another completely new bet that we only get during the World Cup. It is who will be the top goal scorer for their country. I'm going to end up doing this for every single country, but for Sweden, it just seems too obvious to me. You've really only got a couple options. Alanga, you've got Isak, or you've got Gyökeres, but we're getting Gyökeres at plus 200 to have the most goals for the Sweden national team. If Isak is fit and ready, maybe he can contribute and fight Gyökeres for this, but as long as we've got Gyökeres in the form he's in, with the momentum he has, I don't know how you bet on anyone other than the man behind the mask there at plus 200, guys. It seems like an easy one to me, but those are a couple different ways that you can start putting in your early futures for the World Cup.
Thoughts?
I like
You like
those.
the bets?
They make sense. What are the odds for the group, Buckets? Who's favourite to win it?
Netherlands are favored at minus 150. Japan are second at plus 350. Sweden are third at plus 450 right
Sounds
now.
like good value on Japan for me.
Yeah, I like Japan
I think
out of
so
that
too.
lot.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie A, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount Plus.